Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Fat Muscle Project podcast. I'm John Gorman, your host. Got Jason Wells in the house. Jason, it's been a bit, man. You've been busy running Midases and running around like a chicken with your head cut
And
off.
it's been a crazy 2 or 3 weeks. Just it's busy. Trying to find the right people. I'm extremely picky when it comes to hiring employees. So, we put an ad out for an employee, and I might get 500 applications, um, but maybe two of those 500 are what I would consider qualified to work in my business.
Well,
So,
we've been holding the fort down. Jacob and I did one with Stephanie Theobald. If you guys haven't listened to that, it was the last episode. She's the CEO and co-owner of New Ethics. Go back and listen to episode 4. This is episode 5. We're going to talk about how to eat and diet through the holidays or to avoid fat gain through the holidays. And it's something to where we've noticed over the years, we've been doing this for a while, that we've got a lot of people that get anxiety when they're, especially when they're trying to diet. And we're really going to dive in deep on that. But before we get to that, we got a couple pieces of housekeeping. First of all, it's time to crack these open because it wouldn't be a podcast with us without these white trash energy drinks. So gotta love these white monsters. Let's talk about something real quick. On the very next podcast, we're going to give away a $200 Fat Muscle Project gift card to our site. So you can go buy supplements, you can buy any apparel on there. You basically buy whatever you want. It's a $200 gift card, no strings attached. We just ask that you guys leave a review. So if you stop now, just pause it, leave a review. Whatever star I know podcasts always ask, please leave us a 5-star review. Listen, if you think we're 3 stars and we suck, leave us 3. But yeah, I know you're going to leave 5 because we're awesome. So just leave a review on there, and we're going to go through and put a name and randomly draw it out and announce it on the next episode, and we will send you a $200 gift card. So that's all we ask, guys, that you help spread the word, share it on social, tag us. We really, really appreciate that. But with that being said, man, let's start this off and let's talk about eating during the holidays. So I want us to cover this from 2 different bases. You'll have to go back in time. You'll have to be Jason the fat guy again. I mean, we're both still fat guys. Like I'm the fat guy sitting here, but in our minds, we're still the fat guys.
the
Um,
fatter guy.
yeah, not
Yeah,
PHAT, but FAT. So
right.
we're gonna bring it from your standpoint of someone who was dieting through literally every single Thanksgiving for the last 5 years. You've been in some kind of a mode to where you were dieting already. So we're going to bring that standpoint. And then I'm going to talk about the protocol that I send to my clients, which we'll talk about why you've never done the protocol. But we're going to talk about a bulletproof protocol to be able to eat on Thanksgiving with your family, what that looks like, and to avoid fat gain. So I think the first thing we need to do is just kind of lay the groundwork. I've gotten a lot of heat over the years on social media. I've posted this protocol, and I really have it dialed in. It's been about 6, 7 years now that I've been using this. And people say, well, why don't you just eat? Like just eat and don't worry about it. And I think that's okay. And Jason, you're a coach. Obviously, you've got a good client base. Let's talk about just being able to just go eat and not worry about it. Like, do you get anxiety or did you get anxiety when you were dieting and making good strides to just be
I,
able to just go eat whatever you wanted on Thanksgiving?
I did. For me, and I think anybody who is dieting and they're having success. Like, let's look at 2017 when we started. You know, we started together in April. By the time November had come, we'd lost damn near 100 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, and the mindset when you're there, yeah, you've lost 100 pounds, but you were so scared that if you eat one little M&M, that it's all going to go right back to you. And that's where most dieters are, especially if you're pretty obese. Came from where I come from, a bigger female, bigger male. So yeah, the holidays were rough, man, because I mean, you tried your best as a coach, and I do too now, is just to get them to relax a little bit. And I think
Yeah.
it's hard to do that when you're afraid you're going to undo all this progress you've made, and it gives anxiety, and you just you can't let go and just enjoy that meal. And it's easier said than done. We all talk about from coaching standpoint, remember the reason for why you're getting together, enjoy the family. It's not always about the
Right.
food. Once again, it's easier said than done. Especially it depends on your family. Like, I come from a big family that we celebrate, we celebrate. It's food galore. It's all these things that I grew up with that, yeah, you look forward to it every year. And, I got to a point where I almost like you didn't want to go to the family function
Yeah.
because you weren't sure if you're going to be strong enough not to eat, half a pecan pie or whatever it is.
And let's
And
talk let's talk about that for a minute, because there's people like you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but there's people like you that are so focused and disciplined that you really were afraid to eat off plan because you're afraid to go backwards. On the opposite end of that is people like me. So when I diet for a long time, when it comes to Thanksgiving, everybody get the hell out of my way because I'm literally going to eat 3 plates. Now there is that type of person. So if you're out there listening, I think the best thing you can do is kind of understand your DNA and be self-aware. If you're the type of person to where once you start eating, it's really hard to slow it down. What we see is over the course of Thanksgiving, especially with us as coaches, we'll see clients that do that. They'll have 2 dinners to go to, one on a Thursday, one on a Friday, or maybe two in the same day. And they literally will gain 5 pounds. And then we're trying to work that back off. And the next thing you know, Christmas is coming a few weeks later, and then New Year's is right after. So what we see with these type of people is we see slow gains of 5 to 10 pounds, and if it's really bad, even more over the course of the holidays. Then why do you think everybody wants to diet in January? Because we're all fucking fat from eating like that. I am. So like every January, I'm like, all right, it's time to go. But my point is, if you're that type of person, this protocol that we're going to lay out is going to help you avoid that. But there's other approaches too, and that's the approach that you like to take when you go eat Thanksgiving. So you've never done this protocol before. You've never had to talk about just being able to go eat a meal and relax and do that, because there's people out there that like, well, can I just go eat a meal? You certainly can, but I would use the approach that Jason's about to talk about.
so, I was always in a deficit when the holidays rolled around. And, okay, let's lead up. So years 1 through 4, I was always in a deficit. That's just how we rolled. We
Yeah.
did our season through January and that's just how it rolled. But, as I got more experience and felt more comfortable, I didn't follow the protocol because I was always in a pretty good deficit as it was. And, what I got comfortable doing was going to, my family's function, and I'd have a nice plate of, maybe you're not using 4 spoonfuls of potato, maybe you're one, but I got a little bit of everything that I liked, and I had a nice big plate of food, and I ate it. I had a dessert, and then I was done.
Yeah.
But it taken me 4 years to get to be comfortable with that. And what I realized was, and it was the year 1, and I can tell you, the first year I did it, I was crazy nervous about it, like anxiety. The next day you get up and you weigh yourself to get on your tracker, and you're like, I'm a pound less. You
Yeah.
know, what I realized was you can manage this and still enjoy the foods you want to enjoy. And I think it takes that one time to break that anxiety in your brain that, um, but like you said, you got to be able to turn it off, and I think that's where a lot of people are afraid of is I think they think that once they start, they're going to be able to stop.
Right.
And so like my approach was like you said, we didn't do the protocol because I was already in a deficit. Um, we were towards the end of a diet phase almost every time. This last year was a little different because I was prepping for a show,
Right.
which I still got to enjoy Thanksgiving. You just you got to be able to maneuver things around to make it work. I structured our meals, and my family's super cool about it. They know what my goals were, or we structure my goals to where I went to one meal, and that was my pre-workout meal. And I logged it. I weighed the turkey, I weighed the mashed potatoes, I knew what was in them. Actually, I brought my own mashed potatoes. So but I weighed it, and I went. I enjoyed the meal, did my workout, and then after the workout, went to the second meal, and the same thing. Um, but I still got to enjoy the foods because I was able to track it. Um, but once again, we were at a pretty good sized deficit because
Yeah.
of the show.
So when you're dieting, for those people listening, when you're dieting and you're in a deficit, you know what? We're going to get to the muscle cells and being depleted and how to treat this as a carb up without gaining a lot of fat. We're going to get to that. One other thing that I want to point out too is Taking your own food, there were years I would show up and make my own plate of sweet potatoes for everybody. And what people didn't realize is I would put cinnamon, I would put Splenda on there, maybe even drizzle a little bit of sugar-free syrup on there, just a little bit. And man, they taste amazing. And everybody was like, these taste so good. They had no idea that I could also eyeball those. And I knew if I ate a full sweet potato, I think I had figured out like it was close-ish to 50 carbs. So what I did was I went and got my turkey. I went and got the vegetables I wanted. I ate about 50 carbs from a sweet potato, and I enjoyed that. And then I had a slice of pie, and I counted that, roughly. And there's ways to do this where you don't have to be so anal. But I do want to start talking about this protocol because there are people that want to have a plan. They're very, very driven. They're like you. We're out for blood. Like they're out to like, listen, I'm dropping this week. Like Thanksgiving is cool. I'm going to eat a little bit with my family, but I'm right back on track. I don't want to gain 5 pounds. So this protocol is for you out there listening. Or maybe you're done dieting and you've gotten to your goal weight. And the last thing you want to do is eat through the holidays. This protocol is especially for you because you're going to be able to maintain and not go backwards. So I'm really, really excited to talk about that. So we're just going to kick this off. I know we're both looking at the show notes here. And what I'm going to try and do, if you're listening, I'm going to try and copy and paste the article that I wrote in the show notes so people have it there. I post it all over social every year. I usually do a podcast on it, but I'm going to try and post it in the show notes. So if you guys want to try and view it there, hopefully there's not a restriction on the amount I can post. So let's start off. We're going to start pretend it's Thanksgiving week, and we are recording this on a Tuesday, about 10 days out. So I'm probably just going to upload this tonight or tomorrow. So you're going to have this about 10 days out. So on Monday of Thanksgiving week, okay, and listen, you can start this back however many days you want. Not everybody eats on Thanksgiving, but just say Thursday is Thanksgiving. On Monday through Wednesday, here's the process. Monday through Wednesday, pull your carbs down to just pre and post workout. Now, what that does is if you're somebody who is eating carbs at multiple meals, it doesn't matter. You want to lower your carbohydrates to just around the workout. That's when your body uses them the best. And then what you'll do is replace the carbs at your other meals with fats. All right. And the reason why we do that is when you train, your muscle is like it's like a gas tank. It stores carbs, it stores glycogen. So when you lower your total carbohydrates, you deplete your muscle cells of glycogen. You make room to fill it up, fill your car up with more gas, essentially. So what you're doing is you're depleting the muscle cell by lowering carbs, and that's going to leave you room to be able to carb up on Thanksgiving, to be able to fill your gas tank back up. And the lower your muscle is on glycogen, the more you're going to store there and the less you're going to store as fat. So it's almost like it's going to store in the muscle with priority first. And that's just part of it. It's just like a peak week in bodybuilding. When I need to carb someone up the day before a show, I deplete them for 2 or 3 days and it leaves room, and then I carb them up and they can eat more carbs that way. We don't have to worry about gaining fat or spilling into the fat cell. So the recommended amounts that I like to recommend for men is 40 to 50 carbs before their workout and 40 to 50 carbs after. And then you do your training Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday morning, which we're going to get to. Women, I like to recommend about 30 to 40 carbs before you work out and 30 to 40 carbs after. If you can do 30, that seems to be about right. Listen, that's enough to fuel your workout. It's enough to fuel recovery. It's enough to give you a little bit of carbs. We're not trying to go keto. You can't do that in 3 days anyway, but you'll get really depleted. And a lot of people look at this and they're like, man, I'm going to miss my carbs for 3 days. Don't worry. You're going to be able to eat your carbs on Thursday. That's the whole point. You're going to be able to eat and not worry about it too much. So it's just 3 days. Just suck it up a little bit. Jason, do you have anything that you want to add there?
No, I mean, you're going to get into the nuts and bolts of it too, but no, I mean that, and essentially that's even when I didn't do the protocol, that's what we were doing. So I mean, that's the numbers I hit. Um, you got to look at it this way. You're just trading carb days. I mean, you're cutting some carbs here to eat some extra another day. So I mean,
Right.
this all comes out in the wash at the end of the week, anyways.
Yeah, and it's for 2 to 3 days. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's talk about training. So you're going to train Monday through Thursday. You're going to train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday morning you'll get up and do a workout, which we'll get into here. But you want to change your rep ranges to all high rep, and I like to recommend 20 to 30 reps. And the reason is, again, that's going to deplete your muscle cells faster too. So if you do squats in the 5 rep range, or you do squats and the 30 rep range of the leg press, because here no one's going to do 30 reps of squats. So if you're on the leg press and you do 5 reps or you do 30, if you do 30, you're going to deplete the muscle in your legs way down. And you do that in all your workouts for 3 days, 4 days counting Thursday, you're going to create so much room in the muscle to eat carbs and store there that you're going to avoid fat gain as well. And the higher rep ranges, they improve insulin sensitivity as well. I mean, there's studies out there to prove that, but we all know it at this point. The higher your rep ranges are, the better your insulin sensitivity, meaning is the better you store and process carbs versus in the muscle versus storing them as fat. So that's really the training there. For somebody that hasn't been doing high reps, Jason, I think they probably are going to get a little bit sore from this.
Yeah.
Something not to worry about.
Well, and keep in mind too, when he's saying doing 20, 30 reps, it's not, I mean, you're still wanting to load some weight on there that makes it work. I mean, you're wanting to work the muscles. So, I mean, but yeah, so if you're not used to doing 20 or 30 reps, you're going to feel it.
Yeah,
it's a different style of workout,
Yeah, you'll be a little out of breath, and that's okay. You can go faster through your workout because the weight's lighter, but you want to train to the point to where you feel that lactic acid build up and the muscle burns to where you have to stop. Like you want to train hard, but you're not going to fail like you would fail if you did, your 5th rep on leg press. You fail from your body just can't push it. It's different. You're going to fail from this burning like hell in the muscle that you're working. So that's the training side of things. Now, can you train the way you typically train and just lower your carbs? You can, but what we're trying to do is maximize every little thing we can to create as much room as we can so you can just eat on Thanksgiving and not really worry about it.
Just trying to burn the gas tank out, like like you said, just let's get this thing close to E as possible.
Yeah. Let's move on down to cardio. I like to recommend this, and this I get a little bit of pushback, but not much because it's not too bad. Steady state cardio, which is like, walking on a treadmill or riding a bike or going for a walk or maybe even a jog, that primarily burns fat as fuel. You want to switch over to some HIIT cardio here, and I like to recommend that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as well. But I'm only talking 3 to 5 HIIT intervals, nothing. So, for example, you could do the battle ropes. You could do 3 intervals, 30 seconds as fast as you can, 30 seconds rest. Do that 3 to 5 times after your workout, and you're done. It takes 3 to 5 minutes. That's it. But that's another thing that depletes the muscle cell. It's going to work your upper body. What are some other HIIT style 3 to 5 intervals that people can work out?
You can do, if your gym or your home gym or whatever wherever you're working out, it has, if you got an assault bike,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great.
Brutal.
It's brutal, but I mean it's effective. Ball slams, are another good one. I got clients that do jump rope, like just go as hard as they can on a jump rope for 30, 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Really, I mean there's a multitude of HIIT ways to do it. I mean the key is make sure you do it correctly.
Yeah. You can even just get on a. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, the spin bike. That's what you had me start off at when I was 450 pounds as a spin bike.
Yeah.
And you're going to know if you're doing it right. Trust me.
Yeah. So check out, you can look up all kinds of HIIT cardio. Just do something. Box jumps if you're a lighter person.
There's a real good YouTube video of you doing a spin bike.
It's really funny on that video because it was from 2014 and I was prepping. I'll try and link it here. Just Google Team Gorman or go to YouTube and search Team Gorman HIIT, HIIT, and it will show me doing a spin bike, brutal. Then you'll notice I'm shredded because I'm really close to stage lean, and Leslie's videoing it. And at the very end, I'm using this old camera, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. And she didn't hear me. She just kept videoing me. I'm sitting there struggling. I just want to get off the bike. I'm like, I'm done. Turn it off. And I didn't know how to edit the video, so it's all in the end. But yeah, HIIT's pretty good. So if you want to look that up, add just 3 to 5 intervals. Now that we've got Monday through Wednesday kind of in the tank, right? We're all mostly working out those days anyway. So just make those slight changes. It's going to deplete your muscle cells. It's going to set you up for the day. It's Thanksgiving Day. So what I like to recommend, and I always think about me and my son, Jay Gorman, doing this because it's my old gym. It's your gym now. You bought it. I would always go to the Springfield Anytime Fitness over on Republic Road. and we would do this workout, and we would do it for 20, 30 minutes, and we'd be in and out. But here's what I like to recommend. You do a workout sometime in the morning, so then you can eat that day. Make sure it's a high rep workout again. And what I like to recommend, any high rep workout will work, but what I like to personally recommend is a full body workout with one exercise per body part. And I just jump on the machines and just roll, 30 minutes in and out. And what you do is one exercise per body part. So maybe it's a chest press, then you go the shoulder press, and then you do lat pull down. Everybody knows like one exercise per body part, high rep, and you just roll through and you do that and you're done. Like you literally do it. And it takes about 20 to 30 minutes. Any exercise are fine, but just make sure you do the higher rep stuff. What have you been typically doing? Have you done the full body workout, or have you just stuck to your same
Yeah.
workout and just done the high rep?
Well, that was something that we always kind of did. I mean, one thing I know we didn't talk about too is like, even when I was in my deficit, we always had a high day, which has always been Sunday. And for years, my Sunday was a full body workout. That's how we programmed it.
Yeah.
And so, so it was natural for me to know that if I was going to eat more carbs to go in and just do a full body workout.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing. So,
Yeah. So basically, if you want to take a look at this, you can do one exercise per body part, and you can do one set all out, 20 to 30 reps, and you're hitting something for every single body part. Now, if you've got more time, you want to do 2 to 3 sets, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Just go by feel. But if you're in a hurry, just get one exercise, one set in, 20 to 30 reps, and just push like hell and get in and out. But I usually do it's just a big circuit on the machines there at our gym. I say our like you and I, like our gym, because it's a bunch of us friends and family are always in there on Thanksgiving. So I just set up this giant circuit and I just roll through it 2 or 3 times till I'm tired of doing it, and it's time to go eat. So, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
yeah, something I talk with my clients too is, this helps with the anxiety is even if you do the protocol and you go and you eat, there's a good chance that next day you might be up a pound or two. Let's talk about it's not fat gain.
Right. It's good. That's a good point.
It's water. And the thing is, I think people forget too is keep your water intake high. Your body needs that water to process the carbs that you're going to take in. So that seems to always help me is, always make sure, I'm a gallon and a half of water a day. That's been that way forever. I make sure I always hit my water, even on Thanksgiving, make sure I have plenty of water to process the carbs. But, people get up the next day and, I'm one of them, I know, and this from being my coach for the last 6 years that I'm going to be 2 pounds up. I mean, I'm that way with a high carb day. And then the next day it all falls off. So don't freak out when you get up Friday and you step on the scale and you're a pound or a pound, and you may not be. I mean, you may be one of those, unicorns that weigh a pound and a half less or 2 pounds less than you did on Thursday.
Yeah.
It happens. But there's some of us, especially, I think it has to do with the amount of muscle mass you have. I'm not a small person. So, I weigh a pound and a half, 2 pounds heavier on Friday than I did on Thursday. But by Sunday, it's all gone, and I'm back down to where I used to be.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that too, I'm glad you brought this up because I don't have this in the show notes. So you're talking about scale weight. When you lower your carbs earlier in the week, you typically will lose weight because you're depleting. So everyone's seeing the scale go down. Most people. Now, if you get sore as hell from the high reps, maybe it's just your weight doesn't move. But my point is, don't worry too much. And like you said, don't worry too much about the scale. Understand it's not really fat loss. It's not really fat gain happening. It's just an alteration of the scale. And when you carb up, you're eating saltier foods. You're filling a low gas tank up. So if you think about it, if you weigh a car and a car's on empty with hardly any gas, and you weigh it and it weighs, 1.5 tons, and then you fill the whole gas tank up with gas, it's going to weigh more. So when you fill your body up with carbs and water and salt, it's going to weigh more. And then it's going to start to kind of level off, you know what I mean, and get to that normal range. So by the end of the week of Thanksgiving, you should be at a normal average-ish. And let's go ahead and talk about what to eat. So here's what I tell my clients, and this will be my post, and this will be everything that I send them in an email on Thursday. Do all these things that we just talked about, and then show up to Thanksgiving and eat what you want. Just go ahead and eat what you want. Don't eat yourself sick. Don't. I like that term's always cracked me up. Don't eat like an asshole. Like I don't know what eating like that. I don't know why that makes you an asshole, but don't eat like that. Eat whatever you want and don't worry about it. Just don't eat yourself sick. And I think that's the main thing that eat a lot of turkey, eat a lot of vegetables, eat some dessert and some carbs you want, but don't eat
Slow
yourself.
down.
Yeah,
That was my big thing. I can attest to this to post show also was I had not had those things in so long that you just start ramming it down your throat and your mind can't keep up with your body. And next thing you know, you're like, I'm miserable. So enjoy it, slow down, chew it, take a couple of drinks of water between bites. You'll enjoy it more. So I know that from experience. So
should I post the video of you in Orlando after your first show and you're eating what was the pizza that we were eating? That's the biggest pizza I've ever seen in my life. And you ate that so fast. I was like, holy hell. I have that video. Maybe I should post that. I don't know. If I can put it in the show notes, it'll be there. Everything will be in the show notes today. So let's talk about if you have multiple Thanksgivings. A lot of people they have two dinners to go to the same day. I always tell people, hey, just eat moderately at both of them. Go ahead and have a little bit of what you want at both of them. Just if you're full, that means that you don't need to eat a lot, but try and space it out a little bit. But like Jason, you probably have Thanksgivings on multiple days, right?
we do. Ours are split multi days. So what I'll do is basically the protocol twice,
Right.
really. The way they're split. My family's kind of all over the place. So we'll do one the weekend before, one the weekend after. And we actually have one that I'm hosting at my house on Thanksgiving, which, you know, um, it makes it tricky. Obviously, I'm not in a deficit at this point in time, so I'm not nearly as stressed about it. But at the same time, I don't want to, blow it all out. But so I will do the protocol twice, and then for the one on Thursday, I'll keep carbs and things at bay Monday through Wednesday, kind of the same, really. So I guess you say I probably might do it 3 times.
Yeah, and even for someone that's got a Thursday and a Friday, for example, just wake back up on Friday and just do the workout again. Just like or do another high rep workout. It doesn't like we don't have to be that anal about it. Some people are like, well, will any exercise work? Like if I want to go run a 5K, listen, at the end of the day, one day is not going to hurt you. If you want to go run instead of doing a workout and you like doing these turkey trots and things like that, that's real big around here. I don't care. Like you just make yourself happy and just go enjoy it. Don't stress yourself out. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. And you can relate to that. I think it takes eating and relaxing to get you to the point where you can eat and relax and realize it's not going to make a difference.
No, no, you're right. That's something that it took me several years to learn this or to accept it. Is that one meal or that 2 meals you're going to have is not going to undo everything you've done. It is not. It's all here. It's all in your head.
Right.
You like the term you said. My thing was I tell my clients, eat till you're comfortably full. You
Yeah.
know, enjoy the food. But I can attest from the last 6 years of working with you and this being in different phases of dieting, that one meal, it never makes a big difference. And I know that it took we'd go to a speaking event in Orlando and you make me go cheat on my meal, every time. So, and I'm stressed about it. And you're like, okay, you're going to have one of these and you're going to order one of these and you're going to order one of these. And, but at the end of the day, it never changed anything. Yeah, maybe I was up the next day like we talked about, but within a couple of days, all that bloat's gone. And in honesty, they were great for me mentally. You don't think about it while you're having it because the anxiety's high because you're worried about gaining all this weight. But there's a mental break aspect to this too. That most people, by the time November comes around, if they started dieting in January or sometime at the beginning of the year, there should be towards the end of their dieting phase as it is.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a nice mental break for them to push for the rest of the year. Push out that last 2 months or month and a half we have left. You
Yeah.
know, that's the way it did for me. Like I know, you don't see it till after it's done, but you get done. It's a nice mental break from tracking everything and packaging up all the Tupperware. You just go, you enjoy your family, you enjoy some good food, and then you know what? The next day you're right back in the saddle and you're hitting it again.
We're going to talk about Tupperware. I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of the last things here. We're going to talk about if you're prepping for a show. We're going to talk about Tupperware and things of that nature. So, um, we always say, remember what Thanksgiving's about. It's about family, it's about friends, it's about being around. But sometimes you're prepping for something that is so crucial that you stick to the diet to where you really do have to. It depends on the person, right? Like I've got people that are a little bit more genetically elite. They're prepping, it's November. They don't have a show until like March. I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to do this protocol and let them eat. Now, if I've got somebody that's doing a show in December, right? Like sometimes their shows in December, um, they're not going to eat at Thanksgiving, and that's the nature of dieting for a bodybuilding competition. If someone's just dieting in general, I don't want them taking Tupperware to their family's event. It's that was me when I was younger in 2009. Like I wanted to be the guy that was hardcore. Like you can't break me. I'm gonna stick to my fucking diet. And what I do look like a moron, right? Like no one thought it was cool. No one thought I was hardcore. Should have just wore a fanny pack to the table at the same time, and I didn't. So I just, don't be that person. But if you're dieting for a show, what I would do is bring your food. You don't have to sit there with Tupperware, but warm it up, put it on a plate, be around your friends and family. And you have to explain to them, you have to say, hey, listen, like I've got a bodybuilding show coming up. It is so crucial that I eat to the T of what I'm doing because I've got a month and I have to step on stage. But make some food and just make yourself fit in. Eat a lot of vegetables and things like that. Maybe you make your own dish that you can measure out, like I did with sweet potatoes. You can measure out some turkey, and that's close enough, but you may just have to bring your own food. And that's the nature of diet. As you know, you've done a show. Well, you've done a couple shows now, big ones. There's no room when you get down there towards the end because every little bit matters. Like you eat a little bit off plan and your whole week is a wash. So Thanksgiving, imagine if you were 3 weeks out. You remember how hard it was to get you down into the 190s. Imagine if you wouldn't have. Imagine if I just gave you free reign on Thanksgiving, you ate whatever you want. You probably wouldn't have lost weight for 2 weeks. It would take
Uh,
us 2 weeks to undo that.
it would have stuck on like crazy,
Yeah.
it's funny is I purposely picked the show, and I knew that I'd be prepping through Thanksgiving, and it was more of a mental test for me, just because we hadn't done anything super hard in a long time. So, um, but once again, there's ways around things. Like you talk about making your own food, you can make your own Thanksgiving meal and make it fit your macros. You just got to be creative with it,
Yeah.
with like you're talking about your sweet potato dish. I did the same thing if I made my own mashed potatoes. I knew exactly what was in them. You
Yeah.
know, and turkey's turkey. Turkey's protein. It's a lean protein. Eat the breast, weigh it out, easy to track. But like your sides, I mean, I brought my own sides. I ate the turkey they made because it was turkey. Just peeled this, cut the skin off and just eat the breast. But you can make it work and still enjoy the holiday, even if you're in prep. In my opinion, you just got to be disciplined.
100%.
When your brother's walking by and got a plate, he's got 4 pieces of pie on it. You don't need that pie. Stick with your Greek yogurt for
Yeah.
your dessert.
Well, and that's so one other thing I want to touch on, and then we're going to wrap this up. And this will be, as long as this posts in the show notes, the article will be there. There are people that are already low carb, right? They're already carbs pre and post workout, or maybe someone's keto listening. And it's not going to be the majority, but I do want to help you out. All you have to do for the week, change your rep ranges to the higher rep ranges and go ahead and do the HIIT cardio after your workout. It's still going to deplete you a little bit. If you're keto, you're just going to deplete a little bit of fats. So then when you go eat on Thanksgiving, if you're keto, just eat whatever you want. You can carb up, it's going to throw you out of ketosis, but you pretty much can eat all the vegetables and meats and the fats and stuff that you want. Bring some kind of a bacon dish. Like it doesn't matter, like some kind of a bacon meat casserole. There's Google keto sushi. Like you can actually roll everything in bacon and make sushi out of bacon. Like it's pretty awesome. But my point is, if you're already low carb, just change your rep ranges and add the HIIT cardio, and you're going to be good. So, Jason, this is a fun episode, man. I know that from you and I, we're super thankful for everyone out here. We are five
Yeah.
episodes in. We'll be really thankful if you will stop, pause this, and leave that review because we're going to give away the $200 gift card to one lucky person leaving a review on the next episode. So please, please, please share this, leave a review. We really appreciate you. We hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. From myself and Jason, we're out of here. See you guys.
You guys.